Hello everyone, I'm Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you all week 10 of the Valhalla League. I don't know if you know this, but this is going to be the last week of the season, and my final opponent for this season is going to be Kurt Rocks, also known as Kurt the Buzzwell, also known as Kurt Nominson, also known as Buzzwell the Kurt. I don't know, but yeah, this guy goes by many names, but I actually known him primarily as Kurt Rocks. I don't know if you people know this, but Kurt Rocks is actually a guy that I've actually faced before in the past, like as far as Auras actually, like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire days. In fact, he was actually one of the people that I faced in one of Chartheos. I don't know if you people remember that guy, but Chartheos is actually a guy who I actually followed during the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire period, like into 2016, like in the last year of Auras and whatnot. I followed him because he was a guy doing hosting tournaments, and a lot of people would participate in them. And one of those battlers was Kurt Rocks, who in this league is coach of the Adelaide Absols. This guy has had a number on me, like all the times that we battled. So facing him was actually kind of scary, especially because he also has a Yveltal on his team. Which again, remember what I mentioned in last week's battle against Grisbone, that Ubers have been kind of doing a number on me, like seriously. Like it's been basically the cause of my losses, at least for the most part. And I was afraid that in this case it would be no different. So it was really hard to prepare for this team because again, the Yveltal just kind of does a number on my team. I have Jolteon, which is probably going to be my win condition because that's probably the only thing that can handle the Yveltal, because it's electric type and whatnot. But everything else kind of gets handled by Yveltal, especially on switching. Like it can't switch in, and if I'm in a negative matchup, I'd be forced to switch out. And that damn Yveltal can definitely hit really hard. It's a legendary, so it's only bound to happen. And the rest of his draft is very good actually. He has Nihilego as a special attacker. It hits a lot of my team really hard. Like I do have resistances to it, but it also has coverage like Thunderbolt and all that. This Druddigon also can get knockoff, Stealth Rocks, Crunch, Gungshot. Like it has a lot of coverage. Same goes for Arcanine. Arcanine and Scrafty are both annoying because they're both freaking Intimidate users. So I'm hoping that with what I have here, I'm actually able to at least get around his team a little bit, because let me tell you, it doesn't really look easy at all. I had trouble team building for this guy actually. Like this was another one of those teams where I just couldn't find an answer to his draft because this Bacon Bird is already an issue. Here I led with Jolteon because I was thinking, okay, I should definitely be able to just freely Volt Switch because I don't think he's gonna stay in with this thing. So here, for some reason, I did say I was gonna go for Volt Switch here, because I definitely anticipated him to switch, and not to mention he was also he didn't have any Volt Switch in me. At least that's what I thought, but I guess I remembered that he also has Sylveon, which can come in any form. I don't know, but and that's why I went for Thunderbolt. Like I wanted to just see if he'd actually go into Sylveon, but instead of Volt Switching, I went for Thunderbolt. I don't know. Either way, I am forced to switch out here because Thunderbolt. This Jolteon was actually spec, so I was locked into Thunderbolt, and I was afraid of him getting his rocks up. So what I wanted to do is just hard switch into Sharpedo, anticipating those rocks, so that I can just put him in a situation where he has to switch out into something, and something will take a lot of damage. I was actually going to go for Ice Fang with the Sharpedo, but he actually just went offensive and went for Gunk Shot, and it does unfortunately take out my Sharpedo because I do think this Druddigon is sheer force, I'm guessing, because it hit really hard. Either that or just Sharpedo's that weak, in all honesty, on the defensive side. But here I went into freaking Bronzong to get rocks up. This thing did in fact have knock off Crunch. I wanted to see if he had a dark type move or something to hit Bronzong with. He did reveal the Crunch. That's why I was forced to switch in my Lodic here, and then I went for Ice Beam because he just went for Gunk Shot, I think, on my Lodic. And I was thinking I should be able to hit this thing real hard with a Nice Beam, and then definitely take an Outrage. Instead, this man goes for the Gigavolt Havoc on a freaking Druddigon. Like, he goes for a Z move on a freaking Druddigon of all things. This was something I was definitely not expecting, in all honesty. And it really sucks that I didn't. But even if I did predict it, he did get a crit with that damn Z move, so it probably wouldn't have mattered if I predicted this or not. Or maybe would have, because had I known that he'd have this, I probably would have hard switched into Jolteon. But again, that's risky because Druddigons can get Earthquaked, and if he brought Earthquake on this thing, he could have probably predicted my switch into Jolteon. I don't know. But honestly, I didn't even know what electric move this thing had, in all honesty. Does this thing get Wild Charge? The freaking Druddigon? I don't know. Maybe it was Thunder Punch, I think. I don't know. But yeah, he was able to take out my Melodic, and then here I think I went for the Volt Switch in case he tried preserving the Druddigon, but he actually let me take it out. Here I go into Armaldo. Now here I wanted to go for a Rock Slide just to get some damage on this thing, but I missed the Rock Slide, which is kind of annoying because this freaking Nihilego is just healthy as ever, and now I have to take a Power Gem and then go for the Rapid Spin. The plan was to get some damage with Rock Slide and then Rapid Spin afterwards, so that he'd be forced to stay in and go for more Power Gems or more attempts at Stealth Rocking. But because this thing is now healthy, now I have to freaking switch out. I think he does try to go for another Stealth Rocks, and the reason why was because he knew he could, because he knew that I'd switch out because Armaldo was not able to take a Power Gem very well. It can get 2-hit KO'd by it. Here I went to Golurk just because I figured if he goes for Sludge Wave or even another Power Gem, I resist both types of this on this thing. So here I went for Ice Punch because I was super afraid of him going for the Yveltal switch in, because he can easily do that. But in this case he did not. He actually just went into Scrafty, which intimidates, which kind of makes sense as to why he would go into Scrafty of all things. So here what I decided to go for here was just go for the Dynamic Punch, just to get some damage. This was specifically for this damn Scrafty, because I figured if I can get the confusion on this thing and I can get him to hurt himself, I'd be in a good position. It thankfully does happen here. This is probably the only confusion hit that this Scrafty will ever get. But what I'm going to do right here now is, I think here I try going for this move. Yeah, the Continental Crush, I think it was. No, it was the Tectonic Rage. Yeah, the reason why I went for this was just because I was hoping this would be enough to take it out, even though I did get intimidated. It's because the amount of that Ice Punch did to the Scrafty didn't seem like a lot, and then even much less the Dynamic Punch. So I was thinking, okay, maybe the Tectonic Rage from Golurk should be enough to take it out. Unfortunately, it is definitely not enough. I think it does about just a little more than what Dynamic Punch did. But here, he does predict my switch, or actually no, he goes for knockoff here, and thankfully he doesn't knock anything out because I was a Z Crystal all this time. I do get to go for another Dynamic Punch. Here I actually wanted to go for an Ice Punch, just predicting that damn Yveltal, but thankfully I didn't because I was able to take out this Scrafty as a result. But here comes this damn problem. This Yveltal is gonna just, well, Dark Pulse me. I think that's exactly what he did here. I think he Dark Pulsed me here. Yeah, he Dark Pulses me here. And this Yveltal turned out to be Life Orb, so I was like, this could be good if I can actually wear it down, but again, I don't have a whole lot of switch-ins, especially now that I lost my Lodic, which was my Spadefwall, so I'm kind of in a predicament here. I go into Jolteon here because I was thinking, okay, I should definitely be able to just take this thing out with a Thunderbolt. However, I completely forgot that this thing could get Sucker Punch. Like, I knew I got it because I did look up Yveltal to see if it has any funny moves, and it did get Sucker Punch, but I completely forgot it in this battle. Like, I completely forgot that it can also go for that. I did not expect that, honestly, and because it's a stab move and it's Life Orb on Yveltal of all Pokemon, yeah, I was definitely gonna take out Jolteon, unfortunately. So because of that, I send out Armaldo. It takes more rocks damage, so as a result, it's not gonna be able to take any hit whatsoever, and it's just gonna get Dark Pulse to death. Actually, he went for Oblivion Wing, but Dark Pulse would have done the job just as well. I guess he did it for recovering. Then I send out Bronzong. It's also weakened thanks to the crunch from Druddigon, and that's just going to be able to take me out. So, yeah, I do lose, in fact, to Kurt Rocks. Once again, because, yeah, this is like the third time I lose to this guy. It's actually kind of annoying in all honesty, just because, I mean, it's Kurt Rocks. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, that's going to be the whole game. We're going to lose 4-0, which really sucks, but the good news is that we are actually going to make it to playoffs, but here's a bad news as well. You people all noticed that I have actually, like, all the losses that I've taken in this league so far have all been from teams that actually have Ubers in their draft. Like, we first faced Mega Superior 12 in week 6. She had a freaking Marshadow, which was a dangerous thing to deal with. and then we had to, and then we lost due to RNG, but we still lost. And then we faced Chase. Chase had a Kyogre, which I was definitely not able to freaking penetrate, in all honesty. We lost 5-0 in that one. And now we face Kurrox here, who has an Yveltal of all things. And not even my freaking Jolteon was able to take care of it. See what I told you? Like, any team that has a freaking Uber on it, or at least a freaking box art legendary Pokemon like Kyogre or Yveltal, I'm just gonna have a huge problem. Like, I thought Jolteon would be the win condition against Yveltal, but then I completely forgot about Sucker Punch, and I was like, ugh. Imagine that. Imagine having Bronzong out or freaking Golurk against it. There was just no way I could get around that. The only things that could have answered it was the freaking Armaldo, the Milotic, and the Sharpedo. And even then, they were all mishandled. And as a result, I just lost. That was so bad. Like, you have no idea. But it is what it is. But let me tell you, again, I digressed really hard right there. But the bad news is that I am going to make it to playoffs, which is cool. But let's be real here. I'm pretty convinced Kurt, Chase, and probably even Mega Superior, they're all going to be in the playoffs, in all honesty. And what are the chances of me beating any of these people this time around? With my draft is not bad, in all honesty. In fact, I actually like this draft this time around. I like it more so than the one that I had for the NGDL for Season 2 and also the PGL for Season 6. But I definitely like this team a lot. Like, I definitely felt like this team actually was a lot better. But the problem is that I don't keep in mind that a lot of the people in this league are capable of picking legendaries. And people like Chase and Kurrox, who are very good battlers, when they have Pokemon like these at their disposition, I cannot expect to win, in all honesty. At least not with the teams that I'm carrying right now. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not in any way easy. And with a person with little to no confidence in his abilities, like myself, I mean, what makes you think I'd actually have a chance? But that's just me, in all honesty, and I'm just rambling for no reason. But anyways, thank you all for watching Week 10. Stay tuned for Round 1 of the playoffs. Don't be surprised if that's the last battle that I showcase of the Valhalla League, in all honesty, because again, I think only a miracle can save me from one of these freaking legendary users. But we're only going to have to wait and find out. I'll catch you guys all till then, but for now, just take it easy.